We just quit our jobs to travel to all 50 states in a van on what we're calling the Lemon Route. Here are the rules to checking off each state. Rule number 1, the only way to check off a state is by sleeping in a Class B van. It might be Mr. Lemon, it might be something brand new, or it might be one of yours. Rule number 2, we must sleep for free at least one night in every single state. And rule number 3, every state has to have a lemon moment. Either we hunt down a lemon-themed activity or thing, or life throws us one of its own. So those are the 3 rules. This right here, well, this is called the penalty box. Every time we break a rule or hit a milestone, we must pick a lemon out of the penalty box. These lemons will be punishments or reward ideas that you guys send in. So it's one journey, 50 states, and a 50-50 chance that we'll make it, because Bob just quit his job. So if this doesn't work, it's busted.
We're supposed to be leaving tomorrow. I'm currently sitting in front of our inverter controls because we are having some electrical problems. But more on that in a second. I want to come back to the cliffhanger from last week's video with our oil leak. So after doing some routine maintenance and changing the oil in the van, we ended up discovering that oil was sprayed all over the inside of the engine. So I came out to the van and I noticed that there's oil spots underneath the van, which is very much new.
Oh no.
And so I just opened the hood to see what was going on, and it was all wet. It's been sprayed with oil. So I went ahead, looked into it, and found that the O-ring had actually failed on the oil fill cap for the filter. So I think I found the problem. It looks like the O-ring on the oil filter cap is pushed out, which is telling me that that O-ring failed and sprayed the oil all over. So now I just need to loosen things up and change that O-ring. There we go. So I changed that and did some, cleanup and made sure everything was good. We ran a test. We actually had to add some oil back into the engine, measure that, made sure everything was good. I even went so far as to, run that van, backed it up, did some cleanup where the oil had spilled on the ground, pulled it back into the driveway and left it overnight. So then the next morning, actually my last day of work, I came out and noticed under the van a huge strip of oil. It's right where it was yesterday. But where it's really leaking from is on this side, right here. I can see the beginning of the wet spot. You can't see it from there, but I can see it through the hoses. Starts right here at the front of the engine. There's literally nothing there. This is where it would be dripping. So after that, I did a ton of research and a huge deep dive into the engine, how it's built, where it can fail, what can cause the oil leak, and why it was where it was at. So I just went ahead and pulled the cap. One thing that I learned from my research online, this filter, what I did when I initially installed it was I actually stuck it inside, and you heard me say, oh, it clicked, and then I put the cap on. That is not the correct way of doing it. The correct way of doing it is to actually take the filter, install it into the cap, and then you put the cap inside. That way it ensures that it's seated properly on the pressure relief valve. I wasn't sure what caused that cap to fail, so I went ahead and purchased a new cap to make sure that the pressure relief inside of it was good. It came with another new O-ring. I had put the O-ring in the wrong position on the cap, so the new one came with it in the right position. And then I also purchased another new filter. So if the oil pressure relief cap has failed, then it can actually destroy your filter. So basically, I just purchased all brand new parts and put it in there and tighten it down. Okay, so I think all of our fluids look good. So I checked the brake fluid, transmission, coolant, oil.
Windshield wiper?
Windshield wipers, good. I think we're ready to turn it on and run a test. So then I did some cleanup, which took quite a bit of time, just wiping down the inside of the engine, trying to get as much oil kind of cleaned up as possible. And then we were able to take it on a couple of test drives, and we haven't had any leaks since then. There's still a little bit of dripping just from, pieces and parts of the engine where I couldn't get it cleaned out very well. But all in all, I think we're in good shape when it comes to the oil. Which that leads us into our power problem. So yesterday we had all of our focus on the van and the oil leak and getting everything ready. And we ended the day with some power problems. I tried to plug in the van to shore power and run our air conditioner so that we could cool the inside of the van down. And we started having this weird problem where the inverter would be on and then it would basically turn off and reset itself. And we kind of do it intermittently, randomly. So I got really, really nervous and I did a little checking and digging into things. But ultimately, I ended up deciding that it might be a temperature issue. I wasn't for sure at all. So I'd wait for it to cool down overnight and then this morning come and check on everything. And so when I got out here, it started doing the exact same thing. It was still fairly warm inside the van, so I wasn't sure if that was the problem. I grabbed a fan. Here is the fan that I put in here to blow basically right up onto the inverter. This is the back of the housing right here, trying to cool that area down to prevent any overheating and rule that out as an option. Then I also waited to make sure the batteries were completely topped off and there was no power being pulled. Here's the current state of our power. So the batteries are at 100%. You can see the state of charge. And then here is our inverter controls. You can notice here, I don't know if you guys can see, but that's actually grayed out versus the blue, which means it is off. Since I've been in the van for quite a while, it hasn't done it. And so I went ahead, turned on the air conditioner, and now I'm actually cooling down the inside of the van. It is still warm outside, so the air conditioner is working pretty hard. So it's a good thing that it hasn't been, cycling through. Everything seems okay. It's not quite as hot as it was. So that's good. Got the air conditioner running. So this is all the stuff that we need to do today. We need to remake the beds, get all this stuff cleaned up. And all in all, this van is just an absolute disaster.
Windshield wipers run. What a freaking day, guys. We're supposed to leave tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do not know how we're going to be ready to leave tomorrow. Oh my gosh. This is crazy.
It is definitely going to be a huge challenge to get everything done that we need to before our departure.
Yeah, because we've spent the half of today, making sure everything else is okay in this dang van.
It's been a real challenge between the power, the oil, and we still have to pack, get food, fill up the water tank, all the basics.
I have not gotten anything together.
Well, let's go knock out a few errands, get some stuff done, so we can at least feel a little bit better about things.
Yeah. And okay, guys, where do you guys think we're going first? I mean, there's only really 3 states we can go to first, so.
True.
Which one would you guess? And Arizona's not it. We are not doing, Arizona will be last of these 50 states.
Fair enough.
So, anyways, what's your guys' guesses?
Boy, is it warm today, 107 degrees. And it's only 11:30 in the morning.
Small little break in our crazy, get ready
Stressful. Get ready.
It's so stressful. Bob is currently in Ace Hardware getting some screws to screw down a storage solution that I bought. I don't know if this is a good idea though. to put holes in our wall in the van. I'm not a big fan, but I think these pockets are gonna come in handy. The sticky tape, which Amazon said like it would hold a ton of weight, it's not even sticking to the wall. I thought it'd be a good time to talk about the penalty box in a little more detail. So at the end of every episode, we're gonna go through, we're gonna look at the subscribers that we got and the comments that we got since the previous episode, and add up the penalties that we're gonna have, which is kind of scary. For every 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 likes on the previous video, or 1,000 comments, it was a penalty or a reward, actually. This is going to be epic. This is going to be exciting. This is terrifying and scary and extremely stressful. We are so stressed today. You're getting as live as a video as you'll ever get, because this video that you're watching right now is going live like 4 hours from now.
So a question that we've been getting from you guys is, why do we pick a Class B and not something like a travel trailer or a Class A or something that's bigger? And the main reason, the size. We can park this in any regular parking spot. I can drive it like a normal car, and it still has everything that we need. It's got 2 twin beds, a galley, a bathroom, albeit pretty small, and a dinette. So we've got a place to sit and eat and work and do all the things that we need. And my opinion is that some of the other stuff like the Class A's, yes, they are awesome and honestly similarly priced to a Class B, but Class A's are gigantic. You have to be very intentional with where you are going, the size of it. You have to have places like prearranged to park, especially over on the East Coast. And in a van, it's just so convenient because I don't have to deal with any of that. It's a nice, small, compact vehicle. And a travel trailer or a fifth wheel, well, then I have to have a tow vehicle. So I have to have 2 vehicles then, or 2 pieces of equipment. So
For now,
Class B is the way to go for me.
and one thing you could be sure of in this trip is you're gonna get a real honest look and experience with us of what it would be like to travel to all 50 states in a Class B RV. Uh-oh, camera might fall. Hold on, holding.
Okay.
So if you've ever wanted to know real life behind the scenes, and we're not only gonna be in our Class B, hold on, the angle was weird. We're not, like we've said, we're not only gonna be in Mr. Lemon, especially, we don't know how long he'll actually last. So, to be continued on that one. But I think that's where we're gonna leave you today, is us finishing up our last minute things that we need to do, loose ends that need to be tied up, and I don't know, just, all the things it takes to leave on a journey. And don't forget, sorry, I don't think you could see Bob very well. Don't forget, we have kids and we, there's a lot going on behind the scenes right now. We have kids, well, adult kids who have lives, and, we're just, so much has to be tied up in order for us to hit the road, hopefully tomorrow. So I think where we're gonna leave you is with the scene oh, you almost fell over, guys. Hold on, holding. Holding. We made it. Okay. Where we're gonna leave you is with Bob's last day. It was kind of emotional.
It was kind of sad, I have to admit.
It shouldn't have been. It should have been exciting, but actually it was really hard because we're leaving something it's not bad.
Yeah, and I think endings are always tougher than beginnings. Beginnings are exciting and there's unknowns. Endings are sad because you know what you left, what you're leaving behind.
Yeah, and he's leaving behind a good group and of people that he worked with and different things like that. So we'll leave you with August 15th, Bob's last day of work. And the next time you see us, we should be on the road, hopefully not in Arizona.
Yeah, in a new state.
In a new state. We're gonna unlock a new state. See you then, guys.